My name is HSCO508 SSuttles. This is my interpersonal communication project. I am a student at Liberty University. The next slide goes over the introduction, where I'm going to speak about personality styles and blends of myself, an overarching goal of the way I want to communicate, and the potential barriers for communication issues and the potential action plans that I want to implement. The next slide goes over how I come to my personality blend through the Uniquely You test. It says that I am a sensitive and submissive person, which does work well with my job. It gets me further with the company and at home. I am a diligent worker. People see me as steady and stable and dependable and trustworthy, and I just feel that these qualities do help me realize more about myself. The next slide is graph 2, which is also discussing my personality blend. Here is how this is me. I'm a high SC personality type. Means I'm not a pushy person. I'm more reserved in my reactions, and I prefer one-on-one projects versus group endeavors. People do find that they can take advantage of me and put me in less desirable situations, but my personality is to be loving, caring, and fair, so I usually do not make an argument over those situations. Ascertaining all the information from our interpersonal I feel that it's imperative, on the next slide, I jumped ahead, a case study of a mature S-type. This is imperative to my interpersonal skill in recognizing the S-type, because as I was younger, I was more of a shy person, not with any kind of authoritative personality. I wasn't assertive, I couldn't make decisions, I wasn't as strong, but Carbon now indicates that people can change with education and knowledge, and they can become mature in their personality style, and I feel like that I have, and this class has helped me get to that point, or working towards that goal. And that actually leads me to my overarching goal, where I have realized my weaknesses of my personality blend, and I ascertain the information from my journal entries and my Peterson reflective paper, and realize that stressful conversations are toxic and harmful to the body, and we get to our journey's end one failed conversation at a time, mentioned by Stewart. And as a result, I have noticed that I am very quick to have snap judgments, which hinders people from being to self-disclose to me. And self-disclosure is just the perception we want others to perceive us as. So with me ceasing the snappy judgments and the preconceived thoughts that I have of an individual and their situation, I can broaden the conversation and involve more salient personal areas of experience in our conversation through dialogue. And this self-disclosure can be possible whenever we use the contact quotient. We have a level of conversation that can be achieved, and I want to make sure that the level of conversation being dealt with at the time is reaching that achievable goal. That is part of my overarching goal. By incorporating good listening levels at a level 1 instead of the level 3 that I currently have been at, where we come up with just advice and suggesting changes and observations, and instead just being more effective with empathetic listening and less making of rebuttals and advice. The next one is adding to that by being self-aware of my surroundings and environments, because our perceptions are not genetically made. They are made by the perceptions of experiences that we house inside ourselves, and we need to perceive ourselves as we feel that is morally accountable, and not be bothered too much by others' feedback, but do take it in consideration to grow from it, because I am fallible, and I am a contribution to a failed conversation, and knowing this allows me to listen with more intent. I can use mirroring to help me with my listening by looking and perceiving myself as more attentive. I can use clarifying questions to dig deeper, open questions to create more interest in details, and have more attentive listening whenever I'm engaged in conversation with attentive silence. That way they can come up with their own solutions to problems. In my background, I'm used to drama triangles where there is a person of that is, I lost my thought. That is a persecutor, someone who is the advice giver, and then ultimately I was the victim in the end. And this is just from meta messages that my father gave me. I learned most of my skills through my friends' parents, and the way that I was brought up contributed to the behavioral blend that I come across with. And understanding interpersonal needs gives me the reassurance of giving worth and value to the to the speaker, identifying intimacy with them, and creating a comfort and social support system for the individual as I listen to them. Usually people they avoid conflicting situations, but in conflicting situations we can learn from each other. We can take what they are giving us, their perceptions, and we can be receptive of them, and then therefore pay more attention to what they're discussing. And then we can just connect and disconnect with people based on filters of negative and positive experiences. Biased listening is something that adds to the overarching goal, and making sure that we're not springboarding off of individuals' conversations, making them less desirable than we would want them to be, or not make them to where it's not important to us. And then the next slide focuses on emotion, how we become flat-brained or come into a flat-brain tango mentioned by Peterson, and how we indicate deception and betrayal and aggression, and just bottle it all up into hurtful messages, and then that residue really creates a domino effect that just stops our listening and our thought process. And then in conclusion, all of this together is the working knowledge of understanding communication, listening better, taking my behavioral blend and applying it to a bigger overarching goal.